Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Forza World Podcast. My name is Aaron. I have Jason here with me, and finally, after much muppetry with OBS and everything else, just because we are idiots, we finally have Andrew here. Andrew, welcome.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's been too long for me to be able to get on here, but finally I made it happen. So
it took a bit. We're obviously pretty tech savvy, so pain in the ass. Andrew, you're about 600 kilometers away?
Yeah. It's like a solid, I don't know, like 8-hour drive, I think, to even just to London. So
yeah, so we don't get paid enough for him to come down and do a live recording. So
yeah, not with gas at $2.20 a liter right now.
I know your car doesn't need premium, does it?
Oh yeah, it's tuned 93, and then even my truck is like, I spent $1,200 last month, dude, on gas. Just on my truck, and like going, like, it's insane, man.
But yeah, no, it's good to get talking, because I think, Andrew, last time you and I talked was the Grand Prix. That was the old Grand Prix at Motorsport.
2019.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, holy already, man. Yeah, wow.
But,
I mean, it's gonna be soon enough. Like, man, 2 weeks, and we'll be seeing each other again, man.
Exactly.
2 weeks. It is 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. It came up quick, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Are you burnt at all today, Jason?
I'm a little burnt.
You were a little burnt?
Yes, I'm a little burnt. We got the golfs going today. Me and Aaron were golfing a little bit. We were both very inconsistent, to the point where Aaron had this immaculate drive after just many balls shunted into the woods.
Into the woods or into the water?
Into the water, yeah. And he had just this perfect seeing eye swing. And it was with our buddy's like brand new driver or whatever. I've never seen anybody have a negative reaction to like a really good swing. This kid's sitting there, fuck, because after all this time he's been using these pawn shop clubs, and then he finally gets a good club. Not even one practice swing. This guy just dings it onto the green.
Well, it was like that one short par 3 where I was like, well, every single other time I've tried to drive it, I've come up short, so I'm going to try and drive it again. And I went way over the hole. I went
this guy
over the
trees. Using a 9-iron, and he's like, you know what? I can't hit anything today. I'm going to use my driver. And then he just puts it on like 2 holes over.
It was an absolute piss missile. And it went over the hole, over the trees, into the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
so
my God.
It wasn't
on a par 3 too.
On a par 3, yeah. Well, and that was the thing.
Man,
is like
ideal.
every single time I tried to hit it, it was like, oh, I made it 150 yards with a driver. And then this one, it was just an absolute bullet. And it was not a good time.
Overall, not a good time. Actually, speaking of not a good time, I got a text from Mr. Andrew today about this Civic, man. You got to tell everybody what's going on with this Civic. Give us a little backstory on what this car is, because it's faster than mine. But as far as point A to point B reliability, I don't know, man. This is looking like an early 2022 Red Bull, like F1 car, basically.
Yeah, well, it is a Honda motor, I guess. So fucking.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's like it's a '99 Civic with it was reliable up until I basically started building the motor. Like, I had a CRV motor in it, like a B20 for all the Honda boys, just stock, not really known for like holding high power, and that's probably why it was reliable, because low power, like whatever, it was always like super good, reliable, no problems with it, I would beat on it all the time. Now I have basically built motor. It'll hold like 600 horsepower, and I just have had so many problems with, man, since just like getting it together. I first of all started it up, just was pissing oil everywhere, and I thought it looked like it was coming out of the where the oil pump is, which is like never happens on those things ever. And I was like, what the hell? And like sealed it properly, everything RTV.
Well, because you thought it was like an O-ring or something, right? That it failed.
Yeah, I thought it was an O-ring, and I remember checking it, being like, this is sick, and even just put extra RTV over it just to be safe. And so I was like, what the hell? And like had to take off like the complete, like all my turbo manifold, downpipe, like drop the oil pan, pull like timing belt off, everything, pulled the oil pump off, and it was a little plug for the block, like one of the oil like orifices or whatever in the block was like loose, that I didn't tighten back up when I power washed the engine, and it would have taken me like 15 minutes to to tighten this thing, like to get everything off to tighten it, and it was like already like fucking 2 hours in when like everything apart when I noticed this.
So 2 hours in, and you say goodbye to all your oil, which is now in your driveway.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that I bought 2 jugs of oil because it was on sale actually at Canadian Tire. Fucking shout out Canadian Tire for their weekly oil sales.
No free ads, but that's okay.
Yeah, dude, and I was like, well, at least I like had that because I could still start it up and like check it and everything. But and then like the next day, go to like fire it up and like I do like all my own tuning and everything too. So just loaded up a map or whatever, and it's just been idling like absolute garbage lately, and I can't figure it out for the life of me. And I was trying all this stuff, and then I ended up fouling the plug, so it was like down a hole, and it was just a nightmare today. But it took me a couple hours, and then finally today I got it driving good, but it just idles like shit still, and it's driving me actually insane. So
what engine do you have in it right now, Andrew?
So it's a B series, so it's kind of older school for all the Honda guys that know about it. It's like a 90. It has a 96 Integra, non VTEC block, and then it's got JE forged pistons, Speed Factory rods in it, which are like rated for like 800 horsepower, and then ARP head studs, and then a Integra GSR VTEC head. So you can do like a conversion basically to run a non VTEC block with a VTEC head. I was making like around like 350 on my old setup with like stock block, and now it's built, so it should be able to hold like 500 like all day. So
that's pretty nasty.
This is the most technical our car podcast has ever been. So that's
true.
Considering the other week we started talking about squirrels for the first 5-10 minutes.
We had a good 3 minutes of squirrel talk.
Oh yeah,
squirrel talk and beer talk. Yeah. We got right into the stats this week. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Right into the car talk. Apart from being burnt at golf.
Yes.
New news.
Oh, we have news.
We have a lot of news. So first I want to start off with the Forza site. Forza updated their website. What do you think?
Doesn't sound like a big deal. Oh, yeah, okay.
It doesn't sound like a big deal.
So it doesn't sound like a big deal. It is, because they were running this antiquated piece of crap site from 2012, ForzaMotorsport.net. Even though there was Forza Horizon stuff on there, it was ForzaMotorsport.net. It was confusing. Anyways, I don't know. It was kind of always clunky. You know what I mean? It was kind of not that responsive. It was slow. And there's no reason to go to the site. And I don't know. They changed it to Forza.net now. It's really quick. It's super zippy, man. I don't know.
Clean.
Yeah, it's clean. It's clean. I feel like something's going to go in there. Like, I feel like there's going to be a reason to go to that site more often. I don't know. It just seems way too good. So, no, that's exciting. But
imagine
if you're listening to this,
or what? Get the shop back up there.
I was going to say, yeah, imagine if they put like a merch store.
I would be interested in that. I would spend a lot of my money.
You're thinking they were listening to the old podcast, eh?
Yeah. It's almost like they listen to the Forza World podcast. Yeah,
we can hope.
All I'm saying is if they get a merch store going, they better get Afterpay on there, because I want 0% payments on $900 worth of Forza merch. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Dude, Afterpay is actually so clutch for that kind of stuff. Oh,
it's so clutch, man. Don't miss a payment, but it is very clutch otherwise. But no, the merch store, I mean, I can kind of see that happening. I kind of hope we get ours up first. Spoiler alert. But for those of you listening to us ramble about nonsense things, you want to hear about this Hot Wheels pack. And I want to talk about this Hot Wheels pack because this thing looks like a heater of an expansion. I don't know. There's 10 new cars coming. Don't ask me what they are. I know there's a Hennessy in there. I know there was this cool Camaro, and I know there was a couple other cool things. The Euro 2 Hot Wheels car. Everybody knows that car. You don't know the name of it. You've seen it. It's the surfboard van thing from when everybody was kids. But the pack looks sick.
It does. It does.
It looks like all of the good parts of Forza Horizon 3's version. So just general, you know what I mean? Just bomb around mindlessly, put on some good music, not that there is any, and just have some fun with it, right? I would imagine there's a cool little like building element to it as well. I can't confirm that, but I would imagine that's part of it. And there's snow in it too, which seems like a great idea. And I don't know, it's just gonna be a lot of fun, man. It just doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Like, it doesn't have to be this crazy pack with all these different things to do and what do you call it, challenges and races and all this crap. Contrary to what we've been saying every other podcast where there needs to be direction, I think with this one you don't really want there to be any direction.
With
I
Hot
think you
Wheels,
just
no.
want to have some fun, man.
No.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's just like a hop on, have fun with the boys kind of expansion, man. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, could you imagine multiplayer on this? I didn't even think of that.
Ooh,
yeah,
That's gonna be
exactly.
a lot of
It'd be
fun.
sick. All like mini games you can run and stuff. It'd be sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think of mini games either. You could definitely. I bet you they've done that. I bet you
What,
they have
playground
Eliminator,
games?
a bunch of cool. Yeah. I bet you there's a bunch of really cool stuff with it. I at least hope.
I'm hoping, yeah, that'd be
I'm thinking
unreal.
playground games would be really cool in
Yeah.
the Hot Wheels expansion. But yeah, I think when they came out with the Hot Wheels expansion in Horizon 3, it was a very underrated car pack or expansion pack
Mm-hmm.
because it was mindless. It was something where you could just go and do whatever you wanted, and there was no general direction. But the map was fun enough that you weren't bored of it.
Yeah.
And now with
I
this
think
one, the
music
map's
played a
going to be
part
even
too.
bigger. Music did play a part, yes.
that
Speaking
was
of
a good
music,
song.
how did you feel about the music choice in the trailer?
Oh, Aaron, I caught some flack for this. I put in the comments of that video that I believe I put the puke emoji is what I did.
Did you
For
really?
in reference to the soundtrack. I
Was
did
this on YouTube or
whatever
on Instagram?
on Instagram in our comments.
Oh
I did
no.
the sound section. I didn't like it. It was this weird somewhere over the rainbow thing. I don't even want to like insert it right here. Like sometimes we insert little sound clips. I'm not even gonna do that to you guys. It was so bad. I don't know. I just feel like we've been ragging on the past couple weeks about how good DLC videos used to be and the potential that they had and the song choices that they made. They were killer. And then you come out with this punk rocky thing that there's some sort of sentimentality here for some folks where they're saying, "Oh, it's a good callback." Well, you know what? It sucked, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like there's like three guys. It's like the only people in the world that know that song.
Yeah.
That were defending it. I think it becomes indefensible too because you look at what the motorsport video looked like and what it sounded like. And you pick Jay-Z, and it's like that's a hard one to top, man. And if you're consciously picking Jay-Z as your, as the music,
But
I don't know.
one of the things that we've noticed is there's a huge difference between the Motorsport team and the Horizon team.
There is.
Oh man, the
That is true.
Motorsport team is really making the Horizon team look bad after that trailer.
Oh, well, just in general, like the Motorsport team.
In general, yeah.
In general, the Motorsport team knows what they've been doing. They know what to release. They know how to release it. They know the audience that they're going for. And I feel that
Which is effortless, man. Yeah.
I feel that since Horizon 2, like Horizon 3 and beyond, um, the Horizon team just hasn't had the traction. I think they're trying too hard to bring in new players, that they're forgetting that the players that they've had since the beginning are still very much playing the game, and they're the ones that are going to be introducing new players. So there's always going to be that consistent flip of people. But I get it. You're trying to market to a younger crowd, but don't ruin it
I think
for the crowd that you already have.
Andrew said it the best, right? Like I think it's apparent in those videos.
Yes.
I think in those two packs, the videos alone, you can tell they just get it. Because the one was a Jay-Z video. It was a banger. It was great angles. It was simple. It was just sick. It didn't have any text. You know what I mean? The Horizon one opened with all these different, like, oh, look at our accolades. Look at, we got like this many players. Forza just opened. Or Motorsport, sorry, just opened.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Nasty song choice. Subtle.
100%.
Like, it's not that hard.
No.
And I don't think, it'd be interesting to know just how different the teams are between those promo releases. Like maybe it is the same team and we're just stupid, but I just feel like there's no way that could be the case because they were polar opposite videos.
You know what?
And it's not a polar opposite person that's going to be playing the game. We play both.
Oh, 100%.
So why is it completely targeted differently that way? It makes me think that the team that's coming up with it, is just going into it with a completely different frame of mind.
You know what the new Motorsport video reminds me of? Like that announcement trailer? It reminds me of the announcement trailer for Forza Motorsport 4 with
That's high
Kanye
praise.
West. It is. But keep in mind we haven't
I
had a
agree.
motorsport game in a very, very long time. The song choice was perfect. The clips that they used were beyond exciting. They teased a lot of really great cars in that trailer, and it got me so excited for a motorsport game. And I haven't been this excited for a motorsport game since Motorsport 4. And
I'd say 5. 5 I was excited for. Yeah, I was pumped up for it. It let me down, but I was excited for it because, well, it did, right? Like, but it was the first game on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So everybody was pumped up about it. Like, I mean, the graphics.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. Yeah.
Everybody's fired up, and then you had like 13 cars to play with and 6 tracks. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is really dumb, actually."
Dude, I wish they still. I want them to bring back that like Fiji Mountain or Mount Fiji from Forza 4. Remember that downhill track?
Fujimi Kaido? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So there's a possibility
being a Japanese,
that's going to be in there.
Oh man, being like just like a JDM kind of guy, man, that was like my as a kid, dude. That was my
it's probably going to be in there.
Oh, you have some. Is that a hint? Is that a hint, Aaron?
That is very much a hint.
Oh, okay. That is all we will say. That's all we'll say. Okay.
That's all we'll say.
There you go, Andrew. You can potentially look forward to seeing that.
Dude, I'll be buying it immediately.
100% pre. Actually, I think it goes to Game Pass day one, right?
I think so. Yeah, day one it'll go to Game Pass. I think if you pre-order it, you might get early access. I don't know if they're going to be doing that, but
I'll definitely get the pre-order, man.
Yeah, that has yet to be announced.
That would literally be
Game Pass day one.
Dude, that would be the first motorsport that I've gotten since 5, I think, honestly. Just because, like, literally, like you were saying, like, none of the other ones really got me that hyped up to buy them. Like, after 5, dude. I just never really was, like, really committed to doing it. And, like, after you sent me that trailer, I was like, this is actually going to be unreal.
Oh, yeah, man. I think 6 was what 5 should have been. And I really like 6, but it just felt late. And then 7, well, Aaron knows. It took me like a year and a half to buy 7.
It did. It did take you a while.
I didn't care. Like, I played it, and I don't know. I just had like a blank stare, man. I was like, this doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't care. Like, there's not really a reason to play this other than to race. Like, I miss the event list stuff, man. I miss those awesome endurance races. I just miss those, like the tile setup that you got in like Forza Motorsport
4. Yeah,
and 3.
3 had it too.
But I miss that sort of linear way of looking at things of like, this is the kind of event I want. Let's check them off. Instead of let's just race around and I get a couple perks and I can get some upgrades and all this different stuff and a couple crates and level up. Like, I don't care. I want a list of things that I need to complete. And I want eventually to look at my console one day and be like, yep, I'm done.
And you know what? I really hope. I'm really hoping for this in the new Motorsport game. But do you remember in Motorsport 4 when you started with a small, compact economy car, and it was like, these are the only events that you can enter in until you buy something else. Not until you do a wheel spin and you magically get a McLaren P1 and you're like, oh, look at that. Now I can do everything. It's the restrictions of, these events, you have to drive a car that has a 3-cylinder. These ones, you have to drive a car that has a 5-cylinder. This one has to be either a Camaro or a Mustang.
Rear engine car. Yeah, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Very specific.
Very
do you remember that, Andrew?
Yeah, dude, I do miss that. Actually, I was just thinking about like the B class, C class stuff that you're always doing. You know what I mean? Like moving up the ranks at the beginning. It's almost like the most fun, like racing too. In my opinion,
they force you to be in that.
Yeah, when they force you to do that, it's actually sick.
Yeah,
because you find those cars in the B class and the C class, and you're like, oh my god, like actually, the big one for me, what's it called? The Alfa Romeo Brera.
Oh, the Brera.
That was a car. Yeah. Oh, I loved that car in Forza Motorsport.
You can import that into Canada now because it is 15 years old
legally. That's right. I don't know if I would do it. It is a little bit of
it's an alpha.
It's an alpha, yeah, exactly.
And it is an alpha, so there's no guarantee it would start when you get it over here. But that was a sick car that I honestly can say, if it was in, like, let's just set back the clocks. If we were playing Horizon 5, and it was my first game ever, and the Brera was in the game, I can honestly tell you I would never drive the Brera once. I'd have no reason to, because you start the game with like the most unreal cars.
Yep.
So why would I drive some C-class poverty car? You know what I mean? When you've got all these other options, it just doesn't make sense.
If you start
and there's no
at the very
obligation
bottom,
to play certain classes.
Yeah,
So
if you start at the very bottom, like you did in Motorsport 4, where they give you an F class, like it was F, and D. F was the lowest. Now D class is the lowest. Like if they give you you're like, oh, you get to choose this Toyota Aygo, which is an F class car, and
those races were crazy, man, because you'd be like 68 kilometers an hour
downhill with the back wing,
and at the top of fifth, like.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, those were fun.
Like, and I actually like that, man. Like, I think, like, I know, obviously, like, the appeal to Forza is, like, obviously you can rip all these cars that, like, are so, like, unattainable, like, to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, like, there's something just about it being, like relatable with the all the CD class cars where you're just ripping, like, a Civic Si or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a car you'd see every day.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's like, I thought it was, like, one of my favorite things about Forza 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big part of that too, and I hope they do have it in the next game, is they forced you to do it. Like, you had to experience those cars. It wasn't an option.
Yeah,
exactly. Those cars were always an option. But there came a point in a lot of these games when it was like, option. You're doing this event. It has to be a 4-cylinder. You know what I mean? Naturally aspirated 4-cylinder or something like that. Figure it out, right? Or there was a lot of other cool ones too, where you had to pick a certain car. So you picked like a Civic Mugen or something like that, and everybody had that, right? It was locked, so there was no upgrades. It was just
straight racecraft. Man,
those were good too, because everybody's in the same boat, and it came down purely to driver. That was it. So I think with the new Drivatar stuff, I would imagine they take some pretty decent leaps forward with that. I don't know, just hearing the way a lot of these guys are talking from the Turn 10 team, it sounds like they're going to, like, a mix of going back to the roots and then fixing what was kind of wrong anyways, or lacking, I guess is a better term, because they basically made close to a perfect game before. You just kind of have to add in a lot of these new elements that you see. And I think they'll nail it, man. I mean, shout out to them, because they've done a pretty crazy job working through a pandemic trying to get this game ready. This is how many years in the making, Aaron?
Oh, jeez.
It's got to be 6. Like, there's got to be more years we don't know about, but I think publicly this info's been out for 3-ish years, right?
I think so, because Forza Motorsport 7 released... Oh, when did that release?
I think it might have been 18, man.
I was going to say, I feel like it's 2018.
Because it was with the GT2 RS. 2017.
So 5 years. So they've definitely been working on it longer than that too, for sure. Like they've known roughly how this game was going to go for longer than 7.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they've just always been cool to us. That studio's always been cool to us. I don't know, man. I'm just pumped to play it. It's going to be like March or something. I don't know. It said spring release. So we'll see what that ends up meaning.
Yeah.
But I want to play that game. I want to play that game. I want to play the Hot Wheels pack. And I want to continue to complain too.
I really want to sit down. I think the Hot Wheels car pack is going to be a good, it's a good pack to sit down with a bottle of vanilla Coke and a pineapple pizza.
Oh, no, not a pine. Okay, so hang on. So that segues into our next thing.
What do you have? Okay, hold on. We're going to do the segue. Cue the music.
Cue the music.
Jason's complaint corner. Okay, what do you have against pineapple on pizza
this week? Well, it's a funny thing. So I don't have anything against pineapple on pizza. In fact, I love it. It's one of my favorite things to put on pizza. Now, there's going to be 2 people listening to this show right now. There's going to be people that are going to be, right on my side, and there's other people that are going to be screaming in their cars, stuck in traffic, that I am some sort of muppet because I like pineapple on my pizza. And you know what I have to say to you? Fuck you. Because I can't stand this week people who complain about pineapple being on a pizza. The people who complain about it. I'm not saying you can like it or not like it. There's just this whole personality trait that is, I don't know, equivalent to people who are into crystals and zodiac signs and everything. It's like some big mistake if you like pineapple on pizza, or you do or you don't. It's telling somehow. I hate it. I hate you. Just eat it and shut up. It is good. It is good. And if you don't think it is, you probably put some sort of swill toppings on your pizza.
Like
You're probably doing like a
anchovies?
green pepper, mushroom, anchovy, black olive pizza. Also, shout out black olives. Fucking terrible on a pizza. I don't want to hear it. That should be the argument. Olives on a pizza. That doesn't make any sense to me.
You know what's really
There's
good?
14 things that are better on a pizza than olives. And people who actively go out of the way. Maybe, okay, double complaint corner, olives on pizza. Fucking stinks, man.
Okay.
Stinks.
Okay.
Red flag.
Pineapples and green olives on pizza. Really good combination.
All right, listen. I want to discontinue this show after hearing that statement. I hate it. I don't like. It's bad. There's so many better options than olives. That's not the main complaint here. The main complaint is if you go out of your way to like make some sort of comment about, oh, either pineapple shouldn't be on pizza.
Yes.
Yeah, like if that's your whole personality, like, come on.
If that's your personality, yeah, come on.
So it's just the
Get
people
it
that
together.
complain about it. You don't mind if they don't
Yes.
like it. You just don't like
No.
the people who complain about not liking
Exactly.
it. Okay.
Exactly.
That makes
it's
sense.
a topping. Get over it. It is good, and if you don't think it is, that's fine. But I don't want to have to hear about that.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm
you're
sure
definitely
that
not hotshot just because, oh, you have such an interesting personality because you don't like pineapple on pizza. Like, honestly, your favorite pizza is probably Pizza Hut, right? Like, that's probably how this goes. The same people who complain about that don't like gourmet pizza to begin with. So why do I want your opinion? Anyways, I hate it. That's my complaint for this week.
Okay.
Like, just honestly shut up and eat the food. That's all I have to say.
You definitely drive a V6 version of a muscle car if you complain about that.
100%. You drive the Mustang EV thing, that SUV, just stink vehicle. What is that called again?
The Mach E.
Mach E Mustang. You drive a Mach E Mustang.
Dude,
That
fun fact about that. My buddy bought one. It literally bricked itself within a month. And
Shut up.
he had to trade it in for a actual full gas car. So, I mean,
Unreal.
biofuels of the future, not fucking EVs. Let's get that.
I
There
agree.
you go,
I
yeah.
agree. Biofuels.
Porsche
That
keep
will
on
be
it.
a thing, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, Porsche and Audi are on that, man. I think that's the future.
Everyone start investing now. That's
Yeah.
gonna be like, man, Porsche has been big on it, man. I've seen that recently. I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, we were
honestly.
talking about that. Porsche had like a big $15 million investment not long ago into synthetic fuel.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, synthetic fuel is usually made out of hydrosis, I want to say. It's basically, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not an engineer, but it comes from basically superheating water. I think I'm correct in saying that. It makes like a synthetic fuel that's the equivalent to like 99 octane. And you can use all the equivalent pumps at gas stations, everything works fine with them. It works with like 90 or 80% of the existing refineries, like in the machinery and everything that they have and all the processing plant stuff. I don't know, man. I just think people are crazy if you really think the likes of Mobil and Shell and Esso and Sunoco, they're just going to like say, oh, sorry, Elon Musk win. Like, there's no way. They're gonna try something, man. Like, they're way too big to just roll over and die. They'll wait until the absolute last minute when they have to do something, and then it'll switch over. Because you can keep all the existing infrastructure. It's cheaper. It's better than for the environment, too, that you don't have to change all this stuff.
Yeah, no huge lithium mines everywhere for all the batteries.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, and what are you gonna do when you dispose of it, too? I like electric cars, but not on a scale like that. And if it allows people to keep their existing stuff too, I mean, that's just so many more cars on the road that don't need to just get scrapped.
So I just Googled how synthetic fuels are made, and I'm going to try and
It's
make
very complicated.
I'm going to try and break it down. So they pull...
Okay. Easier with the diagram.
Easier
If
with
we end
the
up putting this on Instagram, yeah, big time.
So what they do is they take water, they pull the hydrogen out of the water, so they separate it and basically evaporate the water, separate the hydrogen and the oxygen, and then they combine carbon dioxide with hydrogen, and then that results in synthetic fuel, which can be gasoline, diesel, kerosene.
It's basically like crude oil at that point, yeah.
Yeah. But
And-
basically they take hydrogen and then they shove it full of carbon.
Yeah,
that's how
and the
it's-
cool
that's how it's
part,
made.
the cool part about that is you can use renewable energy to get to that point.
Yeah.
So during that whole process, you don't need like a ton of energy. You can use it from solar or wind. Shout out wind energy for being fucking useless. but you can do it. So it's really cool because you can still use renewable energies during that part. And I believe it burns clean, man. I believe there's like almost no emissions out of the car from it.
I would be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised at all.
I don't know. Get your investing portfolios out, and if you have a financial guy, tell him to do it. If you don't, get a financial guy and say, listen here, man, this is what I want to do. I don't want to go into any of this other crap. Just
imagine motorsport using synthetic fuels. Imagine how much it'll continue motorsport.
Could you imagine if you could bring back like V10s in F1,
in Formula One, or even
and then they use that as an excuse to develop synthetic fuels? It's like, well, we need the big engines back.
Or even in Le Mans, even in LMDH, or even in Formula One, where you're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a race, and instead of having a 4-cylinder diesel that's turbocharged and supercharged, we're gonna bring back V12s because they
because the name of the game with motorsport has always been, this is an outlet to develop future technologies and things like that eventually we see on the road. Correct. Yeah. So if this could be a test, and so instead of testing things like start-stop technology, kinetic braking and all that, if we can have it so we're testing the fuel systems, I could, now that I say it out loud, totally see the big engines coming back. Like just to burn fuel for the hell of it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
because it's
why not?
Can you make enough to produce? It's going to be, if it's a clean source, then 100%.
You make a net zero emissions V12. Like, could you do it with that?
Just the sounds alone, man. Just the sounds alone to like bring, like, sure, Formula One now they're faster, whatever. Like, you just can't beat the fucking sound, man, of the V10s. Like, the V6 turbos are just not it, man.
It sounds like a vacuum cleaner, honestly.
Yeah.
And I get the argument from people like, oh, they're faster and everything. It's like, well, there's a lot more aerodynamic grip, and like they look like fucking spaceships compared to like even 7 years ago. Like 7 years ago, they look like something you could make with like Lego bricks. They really did. And you look at them now, they're so swoopy and aerodynamic looking.
They have the side pods, and they're porpoising like walruses all over the place.
Do you guys see Lewis Hamilton? You hear about his back? Oh,
dude, he looked crippled getting out of that freaking car, man.
He did. It was bad, man. That porpoising, they got to figure that out.
There's been a lot of I saw there was like Ricardo, Gasly, who else? One other guy. They were like messed up from it. I think George Russell too, probably obviously because he's in the Merc, so he's just had a huge concussion probably after that car. But,
I think it was somebody from Alpine, might have been.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like they've got to figure something out. FIA's got to figure something out there. I don't know what you do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a regulation thing. Like I don't know what you can do mid-season, but like when you've got drivers getting their spinal cords inspected pre and post race and monitored, like that's not normal, man. No other race series does that, where you have a daily 2-time like inspection on your spine. Like that's not normal. So they need to look into that, man. Lewis was just the guy I think who put it over the edge because you could see how bad it was getting out of the car, man. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with him lately too. Like even like last year, man, at the end of some of those races, he looked messed up, dude. Like and like when it was really hot in like Abu Dhabi and stuff, man, and like I don't know what it is. He looks like he's going through it, man. In that car,
I think the part of last year too, he was just like he had a car that wasn't as good as the Red Bull, and he was just willing that thing to victories, and it was literally just so exhausting. That's my guess, because I agree with you, man. He was getting into the car sometimes, and it was just he looked like he was going to completely collapse.
Yeah, dude.
And I just think that's what it was. It was just you're so dialed in, you're getting absolutely everything out of the car, because with the Red Bulls, maybe you only need to get 90-ish% out. The Mercedes last year was like 99 if you want to keep up, right? I think that's probably what happened last year. And then this year, it's just obvious. The porpoising's getting to him, man. He's having to push through the grid like he hasn't had to in a long time. I don't know. I think that race in Baku was good, though.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I thought it was it was one of my favorites so far. I mean,
oh yeah,
not just because of a Red Bull one too, but
can we talk about
dude? I love it, man.
Finishing 6th.
I loved it, dude. I'm a huge Seb fanboy, man, and I first I was upset because I did have money for him to go a little bit better than he did, but
I forgot about that.
that was like a unreal recovery, and like the fact that he still got P6 is like insane, man. He's like the fact that he's willing that absolute shit box like to P6 is insane.
Dude, that thing's such a tractor. It's so bad. It's so hard being an Aston Martin fan, dude. Like I'm gonna jump ship.
That's got to be one of the biggest disappointments, I think, in F1 in recent years, man, is like Aston Martin coming and like literally making Racing Point like worse. They came with more money and better sponsorships and they made it worse. Like I don't understand, but you know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh.
Yeah. And those pre-regulation changed too.
Yeah, they had all those extra, ways of support and bits of R&D to explore. And I mean, Seb is just, I understand when you say that you're a Seb fanboy because he's been such a staple person in Formula One that I've been following. Because he's so enjoyable to watch, not only as a driver, but as a comic, I guess. Like every time you see him out of the car, he's always doing something stupid or he's making someone laugh. Like he's doing inspections on other people's cars, being like, "Oh yeah, I wonder how this
Inspector
looks."
Seb, Fireman Seb, motor, or what was he riding? He was riding the scooter earlier in the season.
Vespa round,
Yeah, the memes out of that were unreal.
Oh, so good,
100%. Yeah, you're right though in saying that it's just a disappointment because they had all of last year, man. Because they were brutal last year.
Yeah,
and they basically admitted we're writing the season off and we're just going to do R&D for next year, which is similar to what Haas did.
Yeah, and Haas came
they've just had bad luck,
swinging, man, and then like
they're still kind of
nothing.
Yeah, and they're still kind of swinging. I think you have to look at Haas as the last team to make significant upgrades because they're waiting it out, which honestly kind of smart when you have a low budget. And they've had some really bad luck with crashes and everything. I mean, Mick can't keep the fucking thing on the road. But if you look at Red Bull, I mean, it is a green Red Bull. If you look at what Aston hasn't been able to do this year, it's crazy.
Oh, it's hard to watch being a Canadian too with Stroll in that car sometimes too, man. Like it's you want him to do well, man, but it's just he does it to himself sometimes, and it's just.
Oh, he had a double crash in P1, right?
Yeah, dude. Like, come on.
So you see that, Aaron?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't get the
Andrew,
chance
take
to
it away.
He locked up on, I forget which turn it is. It's like where they have that runoff. He locked up, and instead of bailing out to the right, he hit the wall. And then, like literally a couple of corners later, smoked another wall, like just locked up again.
So he's on the radio after crash 1, before crash 2. He's like, "Yep, I think my spoiler's damaged," and they're like, "Okay, stand by." And then he proceeds to just tear off the whole front of his car, like the next corner,
just understeered hard right into the wall.
Oh my god, it is hard being like you always have to have a soft spot for him because he is a Canadian. But between him and Latifi, it is very hard cheering for a Canadian in Formula One right now.
I know, dude. And the thing is I honestly don't think that like Stroll, when he's on, he's actually a wicked driver.
Oh yeah.
But he just is so inconsistent. I don't know if it is also because he's just driving like the fucking Aston Martin, and like even Seb is having some issues with it. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's the
but
thing.
I mean,
would love
he was
to
P6,
see,
and I don't even know where Stroll was, like P fucking 12, 13.
Yeah. I would love to see some of these drivers like Latifi and Stroll and Seb, and see these drivers in, like, put them in the Ferrari, put them in a Red Bull, and just see how either A, how much quicker they go, or B, how much different their driving style is when they have a good, reliable car.
I think you can kind of tell, right? Because what happened with George Russell when he finally got that Mercedes spot for like a day or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what track that was. Was it Abu Dhabi?
I want to say it was Bahrain.
It was Abu Dhabi, yeah.
It was Bahrain.
It was Bahrain. Bahrain, the second track, I think.
Yes.
The second race there.
Yeah, because it was that's right.
I think.
That's what, Aaron, that's what people were saying the whole time about him. They're like, oh, he's sick. Like, put him in a good car and see what he can actually do. The argument, too, was like, oh, see if he'd be better than Lewis. You could tell he was going to be sick. It wasn't like a for sure, but You could tell he was going to be something. And then when he got in that car, to see him like battle to the lead 2 separate times in the same race, it's like, yeah, this kid's nasty. So you can tell. And I think with Latifi and I think with Stroll, I just don't think those guys could do anything. I think the interesting argument would be, what would Seb be like in that Ferrari right now?
Oh, I guarantee you would be up there with Perez.
Dude,
I think so too.
Seb and Ferrari, man, it just hurts my heart every time I hear that, man. Like, it's like the biggest like what if, man. But it's like at the same time, it's still Ferrari being Ferrari. Like, look at Leclerc, man. Leclerc's driving the absolute piss out of that car, and they've failed him like 4 races in a row,
dude.
man.
It's same old Ferrari. It was the same thing that happened to Seb, dude. They just couldn't keep that thing running, basically. Or like even strategy too. Like it's just all these little things with Ferrari.
Like Monaco, just an absolute disaster.
Oh, how do you make that mistake?
Box.
Stay out. Like you guys are so dumb. So between that and reliability issues, yeah, this is just Seb 2.0 with Leclerc because I think those qualifying sessions, man.
It was It was both Ferraris, a Haas, and an Alpha, man. Like 4 Ferrari power units, and they've confirmed like Leclerc's engine is like done beyond repair. So like for sure has a powertrain like penalty like later on in the season.
Is that 6 grid place penalty?
I think it's 5. I think
5 or 6. It's right around there. It's significant.
It's a big
in a title fight like that.
Like if you, I mean, and then as soon as they have both Red Bulls ahead, like they're gonna play strategy and they're gonna just make it harder. Like they've really not set themselves up to win a championship. Which, man, the beginning of the season, dude, I would have thought it was in the bag like first 2 races.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think they're out of the constructors now too.
Dude, they're gonna be competing with Mercedes now for second, like big time.
And you know what I find hilarious is Mercedes is one of those brands that can make, and this is for both Formula One and for motorsport and for in general, they can make absolutely unreal cars, i.e. the 507 or the Black Series. Yep. And then they can make absolute muffins of cars like the B250 hatchback, or the GL. What was it? GLK, that weird boxy one.
Oh yeah, GLK was a weird looking SUV.
And then it's funny because this is going to kind of tie into our next segment. Mercedes also makes the smart car.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
I don't know.
It is the same company. That's why if you go to a Mercedes dealership, you can buy a smart car.
I did not know that.
No way. I thought it was BMW. That's crazy, man.
I thought it was BMW too, but I think I'm thinking of Mini.
Yeah. It's just
BMW and Mini, yes. But Mercedes it's under the same Daimler-Benz. They make the smart car.
Dude, what an absolute lemon.
So how do you feel about the smart car now, Jason?
So listen, honestly, it's so bad of a car, and I am a Mercedes hack. Like, I will be shamelessly biased about anything Mercedes. They'll always get the benefit of the doubt. Hearing that and being reminded of that doesn't change the fact that the car for this week's segment of Fuck That Car is the smart car. Because it's terrible. It's not even that good on gas. It's wildly unsafe. It's hideous. So disgustingly styled. And I don't know why you'd ever want to drive one. Like it's just terrible. I have a loss of words thinking about this thing.
Okay. So
what are you going to put? Do you put any groceries in it? No. Is it good on gas? No. Is it really cool? No. Is it safe? No. Does it come with any interesting features? No. Does it have cloth seats? Oh yeah.
Okay. Calm down. I get it. I can tell you're very strongly opinionated on this car. Now, let me say this. Do you remember back in the early 2000s when Smart made 3 different vehicles? There was the Smart 4.2, which is the one that we all know today. Terrible. There was the Smart 4.4, which was basically an elongated version of it, which was like a 5-seater hatchback.
It looked like it had a birth defect.
It did look like it had a birth defect. And then there was the Smart Roadster. That one was actually pretty cool. Now, I understand that the regular version with the automatic gearbox was like you had a pencil sharpener for a gearbox.
Dude, if this is the car I'm thinking of, it actually looked like one of those pencil sharpener things that you'd put on your desk as a paperweight.
Yes. So they ended up making, because Mercedes and Brabus are quite tightly knit, they did a Brabus version of the Smart Roadster, which was very cool. It had a turbocharged 3-cylinder that was pumped up horsepower-wise, and it had a manual gearbox. Now, with the way that Mercedes engines are now, with the super high output, small 4-cylinder engines, like the 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower 4-cylinders that they're putting in now. Imagine if they did a smart roadster again with one of those engines.
I don't know, man. That thing is so ugly. It looks like a Saturn, dude. Like, it's so dumb.
It does look like a Saturn.
It does
man.
look like a Saturn. Now that you say that,
looks like
I don't
every
like
single
thinking
thing.
about that.
It looks like a Saturn and like a Honda CRZ had like a horrible birth defective baby.
And they got to the very end of production. They're like, shit, we don't have taillights. So they stole them off of an RX-8. That's literally what it looks like, is they had everything together and then they stole like a couple design cues from the RX.
Like,
you know what, dude? The front of it kind of looks like a Renault.
Plastic. We have all this plastic that we picked up from the Honda CRV factories. What are we going to do? Let's make a car.
But the smart, because I don't think we've properly got our anger out on this car / brand.
I think you've gotten plenty of anger out.
I don't know.
I didn't hear one invalid point though. To be fair,
no,
it's an absolute death trap. It's like,
you know what
I don't see it being useful anywhere except for like if you're in like, I don't know, like downtown Toronto. You know what I mean? Like where you're just like you can get into places that are hard to. But like that's it, dude. Like that's all. But at that point, it's just like get a bike, man. Get a scooter. You know what I mean? Like,
who is buying that car new?
Oh yes, that is the car I'm going to spend $40,000 on.
Who's going to the dealership? You know what I mean? And they're doing their research and everything, and you got like 2 cars at the end, and you make that decision. You go, "Yep, this is the car for me." And you walk into a Mercedes dealership, and they're like, "Yeah, so what car can we get you?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take the Smart for 2 in yellow." Who's doing that?
In yellow, dude.
I refuse to believe
somebody out there is doing it on a yellow smart car.
Like they almost
good about myself.
Dude, they almost have to just sell them to the salesman and then they sell them again so it can be a second hand, because I've never seen that happen.
Dude,
somebody's going and testing a new one.
I'd like to think that like someone bought it thinking it would be good on gas and it being shit and then being like furious.
Let me get the stats here. Let me get the stats on what gas is.
I would genuinely do that. If Mercedes is like, hey, we will give you a job here, but you have to drive a smart car for 3 months. Do you still want the job? I would 100% take the job. If I get a free smart car out of it and I can be like, oh yeah, look at this car. Haha, it's free. Then boom, there you go. There's another meme.
That's pending you live, man.
That's, yeah.
Dude, the only thing
you could get T-boned by a Nissan Leaf and you're not making it out of there.
Oh no!
So you get T-boned by a scooter, man, and you'll have like a broken arm in that thing. Like
you could be T-boned by.
Dude, all I can think about is like literally like I can't imagine like getting hit like by trucks, like you know what I mean, like transport trucks. Every time I see someone like literally when I see them on the highway. Like, dude, I literally am like, these people actually have a death wish, dude.
Hang on. Take a guess at what the liters per 100 is. So I'm not even going to screw around with miles per gallon just because
that's too much.
It's just
I couldn't even guess.
Liters per 100. I'm going to say it's around
like highway you were talking?
Average.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm going to say 7.
Oh, I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say average. I'm going to say like 16, 17.
Okay, so for reference, Andrew gave a very bad number.
Oh no.
And
mine's high.
And Aaron gave bad on fuel.
Yeah.
And then Aaron gave a quite good number. So for reference, the Cadillac, the SRX that I have is just a regular naturally aspirated 3.6. Okay? And that's 11 liters per 100. And that's a mid-sized SUV.
Yeah.
This thing gets 8.6 liters per 100.
8.6?
Oh, man.
Dude, that's high.
That's high.
That's not good.
That's my BMW.
My Sierra with 33s and a 5.3 liter V8 gets 10.4 on the highway.
Oh my God, dude. Why would you want this car? It's not even good on gas. Like what you're gonna save $4 and get T-boned by a Vespa, and you're dead. Like, what are you talking about? Because it really is, right? Like, I mean, what's the cost difference? 8.6 to 10 liters.
Well, now who knows? Fuck.
$2.50, $2.
Dude,
Like, it is. So actually, is it premium?
No, come on, don't do that. They're turbocharged too. I thought it was just like a 1.6 or like, is it? No way, man.
I think they're turbocharged. Jason,
oh my god, 91 is recommended.
There you go. There you go.
Oh my god.
Okay, so officially, let's go over the list again really quick here. So the smart car is not great on gas, terribly unsafe, terribly uncomfortable, zero space for anything, and it takes premium gas. And like, why would you want this thing?
Hold on, I want to figure out how big the tank is here, because I want to do how much it would be to fill right now on a smart car.
So if it's not that good on gas and it takes premium and it has a small tank.
Oh, they used to be diesel. They're not diesel anymore.
I think they offered a diesel. I don't think they were a straight diesel at any point. I think they did a combo, didn't they?
Dude, I remember they were available with the diesel engine.
So premium's what, like 230 something a liter right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say, yeah.
Hold on. It's literally, let's say 230 to be generous. It's probably more now. That's $92 to fill a smart car. right now.
$92 to fill a smart car.
Granted, that's Canadian. That's like 70 US still. Like, that's insane.
And by 70 you mean 70 cents.
Well,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's insane, crazy, man.
That's crazy. That's the Mercedes. Dude, the Mercedes is like 110, 105, and I put 94 in.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man.
But is that to fill it from empty?
Like, that's to fill it.
That's to fill it from empty.
To fill it from empty?
Oh yeah, it's not bad. It's a bit of a smaller tank in my car, but
yeah, I'm getting rinsed with the Beamer.
That's what I'm saying, man. So why are you buying a Smart for 2 when you can have my car, which has 500 horse and a trunk and won't kill you? It has curtain airbags.
And basically the same MPG, like basically the same
MPG. Because if I drive like a granny, I get 11 to 12. So it's like,
that's very comparable.
But how else would you save $4 every time you fill up? Like, that's like, come on, dude.
So it's that close, and I bet you they're not even taking into account when you're on the highway. Fun fact, spoiler alert: nobody does the speed limit. So this thing's probably 3,800 RPMs on the highway because it has 5 gears. I guarantee you. Because the highway, I believe the threshold is like 90-ish kilometers an hour, right? They don't have to get up to like 110, 120. No. That's not what they test at.
No, that's not what they test at.
So your economy is probably even worse because it has a terrible transmission in it and gear ratios. So
imagine being that guy that's like, yes, I'm going to go buy a small economic hatchback. And you do absolutely no research. You buy a smart car because it's the smallest possible vehicle. You think, okay, I'm going to fill this up. And then you see on the little sticker that it takes 91. So you spend $90 to fill it up. And you think, wow, I just spent $90 to fill up my lunchbox. And then you think, I'm going to drive to, the next city over, which is, 100 kilometers away or 60 miles away. And you think, yes, this is wonderful. Meanwhile, you're on the highway. The car is shaking. You think it has Parkinson's, and you're like, this is great. I'm going to die.
A transport goes by, and you get all squirrely on the highway.
Yeah, the wind physically blows the car over.
Dude, it would.
I can't even imagine taking that on the 402. That would be so terrifying, especially like in the windy season where it's just those cross breezes.
Like trying to merge on the highway.
Oh, no.
Could you imagine the winter? Oh,
man. Anyway.
Dude. Oh, okay. We can't talk about this.
We're
like a 15-minute roast session of smart car owners. Like,
if you own a smart car, we're not sorry. You should sell it.
Honestly,
get out of it.
Honestly, yeah. We're like, I mean the point much more if you bought it new. Really, if you bought it used, I can't fault you as much. But if you bought it new, I mean every word we just said. But anyways, on to bigger things here.
On to bigger and better things. I think, a quick little recap of the show before we end it. First off, we have sunburns. Andrew's car broke down. The new Forza site. Honestly, go check out the new Forza site. It's a really nice site.
Yeah, give it a rip.
Check out the new trailers if you haven't. Comment.
Post on our Instagram. Yeah, you can check both those out. They're back to back. So
insane motorsport trailer.
Comment the puke emoji on the Hot Wheels trailer simply for the music.
Yes,
because that's the only thing that's pukey about it is the music. But yes, the motorsport trailer, beautiful. Pineapple on pizza, just like olives. If you complain about them, you're stupid. And Baku GP, fuck that car, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? There is a big thing, right, coming up this weekend. I'm not sure you're aware, the Canadian Grand Prix. And I will be going to that.
Is that
this
weekend?
This weekend already, man.
Wow. So I'm flying out to Montreal early Thursday morning. And I will be sure to be on full alert for car spotting because I've heard there are many, many nice cars on the streets of Montreal in the summer. So
yeah, it's great there, man. It's great.
Somebody saw a Senna yesterday in Montreal.
No way, dude.
Parked on the side of the road outside of Domino's. So I very much am going to be on high alert for the car spotting. The race is going to be great. We're going to be very, very active online here. So if there's anything you want to see, we'll be posting it, really. It's going to be just an awesome time. I think we get to do a track walk on Thursday if it doesn't rain. I was looking into that. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to do that. It just depends on weather. So I'm hoping we get to do that because that would be really cool. That circuit's one of my favorites. I don't know how you feel about it, Andrew, but that is one of my favorite tracks.
I just love like any street circuit. I think it's sick.
Yeah.
And my boy Seb is going to go top 6 again. Mark my words right now. The street circuit king, that guy, man.
He is the king. He is the king of the street circuits. And I think he usually does pretty well there too. So we'll have to see. I don't know.
That was the classic, like him swapping P1, P2 signs with Hamilton there, man.
Yes, that's right. Because of that, he kind of went
5-second penalty when he,
dude, still upset about that. Still a touchy subject for me. Still should have got that win. Big time, big time. But no, it'll be exciting. It's going to be a good time down there. Definitely lots of content.
And then the IMSA race, literally the next weekend.
Yeah, we should have some good. The next show we do. We're gonna have some
the next weekend, the weekend after, because the Canadian Grand Prix is this weekend. Then we have a weekend break, and then it's the
Canada Day weekend. So that's what I mean. The next show we do, we are going to have a lot more information to give you guys.
A lot of information.
What we'll be up to. Number one, number two, if there's anything we can maybe help you guys out with. I think we're going to have some pretty cool things we're going to be doing in partnership with the track. That'll make it really worth your while to get down there. And you know what? If you can't, that's cool too. If you're in Europe, or if you're listening in the southern states or some shit like that, we're going to hook you up. Like we're going to show you all these crazy behind the scenes things. We've got a lot of really, really cool stuff planned. We're going to be doing a show there. Maybe get a couple special guests on the podcast. You know what I mean? Maybe some of the people who drive some of the automobiles. We'll see. But it's coming up fast. We got a big weekend ahead of us. We've got that 1 week break to kind of get everything together. And we'll be doing our first live show with the three of us, which will be really cool.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're going to be doing some interviews too.
Yeah.
The one, you know what? We'll spoil one thing. I'll spoil one thing we're going to be doing.
Okay.
We're going to be showing off the people of the circuit. And we're going to be interviewing the drunkest, craziest people we find around the circuit.
That's going to be so unreal, man.
Yeah, it's going to be
I'm so excited for that.
So we're going to be going around just interviewing people, asking them what they think of the track, different questions like what kind of beers do they like, can they chug this beer, stuff like that.
Yeah,
we're going to be offering up a couple
Coney
challenges.
Island.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to be very shades of Side Talk. If you've ever seen Side Talk on Instagram, it's going to be kind of like that, just with a racetrack spin. So, no, we're excited, man. We're really excited.
All right. Well, I think we ended on a good note. Andrew, it was great to have you. I look forward to the three of us being at this more often, and the fact that we're able to finally get you on the show.
Yeah.
The
I want to hear more.
episodes weren't the same without you, but yeah.
Big time. I want to hear more about this Civic too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to get the progression of this Civic going.
Yeah, hopefully there's fucking no bad news next time.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome. I'm glad we finally got to get it together, and life's friggin' brutal. Like, at least we got it all lined up. I'm sure we'll be able to do it like a lot more often now. But
Big time.
Okay. All right.
Awesome, boys.
Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.